The Majora's Mask is possibly the most mysterious thing in the Zelda series. There are so many questions around it, and any information that we actually do have on the item doesn't really give us that much to work with. We know that it holds great power, that it was once used by an ancient mysterious tribe for their hexing rituals, and that at some point it found its way into the hands of the Happy Mask salesman and eventually was taken by the Skull Kid, leading to the events of Majora's Mask. But that's pretty much it. But the lack of information, mixed with just how powerful, destructive, and evil the mask seems to be, is what makes it so interesting. I'm sure all of us at some point have come up with our own theories around this mask, what it really is and where it really came from. You might believe the mask is simply evil or had some kind of dark power placed upon it. Maybe you think that there is some kind of monster or demon trapped within the mask, sealed away for the safety of the world, only for that to not work for so long. No matter what theory you pick, it's very likely that we have all thought a little about what this mask really is at some point in time. But what if I told you that there actually is a backstory for the Majora's Mask? Albeit not canon to the games, but still a small story in an officially licensed Nintendo product. It's a short tale of the creation of the mask, one that I've always really enjoyed, and so today I want to go over this little story. As like a lot of other topics from the series that I talk about on my channel, it's something that isn't the most widely known about. It comes from this, the Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask manga. And let me just say, the Zelda manga books are not canon. Unless Nintendo comes out and confirms it, these books have no effect on the canon of the games, lore, or timeline. They're simply an extra little bit of fun for fans who want a unique take on the stories and source material. I actually highly recommend them to any Zelda fan looking for a new take on some of the games from the series. They're all very good. The Majora's Mask manga goes over all of the main events from the game, following all the points we know and love, while giving some more time to some side characters and side stories connected to them, to bring a little bit more to the story for this new medium. And at the end of the manga, after the main story is finished, is where we find this original short story. And so, let's go over this origin for the Majora's Mask. The story takes place thousands of years ago, within a barren wasteland. We're not told exactly where this place is, if it's within Termina, Hyrule, or somewhere else, only that it's a completely deserted part of the world. There is nothing around for miles and miles. Nothing except for a large monstrous creature. One day, the monster smells the scent of another creature approaching him, and the creature turned out to be a human. The human was a traveller who had travelled far, and so asked the monster if he could sit with them for a short while. The monster allowed the human to rest with him, since he had not seen one for a very long time, but questions them on what they were doing within this land. The monster guesses that the human had come to steal its armour, which covered its body. You see, the armour on the monster's body was said to have granted wishes, and that anyone who wore the armour would be granted with incredible power. The monster mocked the humans who had made up the stories about it, calling them ridiculous, and said that many humans had once passed through these lands where it stayed. Men, women, swordsmen and adventurers. So many different types of people. The traveller pointed out, though, that there was no one else here. And so the monster admitted that it had eaten all of them. It said that they were greedy. The humans who travelled here before came because they wanted to kill the monster. So every time a human appeared, the monster killed and ate them. After talking for a while, it seemed that the monster grew a liking to the traveller, and so asked what the traveller's fondest wish was, and that he would grant that wish. But the traveller refused, saying he didn't want anything. This seemed to anger the monster, and it snapped. If you have no wishes, then why have you come here? The traveller replied, saying he had heard of a terrible man-eating monster in these lands, and was sent to get rid of it. Though it seems he only said this because this is what he thought the monster wanted to hear. He then said that he had really come to this place because of the strange air within the land. The air seemed to be full of energy. The monster seemed impressed by the traveller, calling him wise. He did not expect the human to be able to sense that energy. The aura around the traveller then seemed to shift as he asked the monster, "How long have you been living alone? You can't die, but you can't really live. Ignored by all the universe, in this strange still air for time unknown. For thousands of years, for tens of thousands of years. Forever? That sounds so sad." These words made the monster angry. It does not want the traveller's pity. But then it calms and asks the traveller why it could not leave this land. The monster had never noticed before that it had been bound by space and time for thousands of years to be trapped alone within the barren land. It was confused as to why it was bound, and why, up until now, it had never noticed. It tells the traveller that it was tired of being alone, and it wanted to sleep soon. It had started to feel the hopes and dreams of people it had eaten, whirling around inside its mind, and wondered if this is what hope felt like. And then the monster asked the traveller one last thing: to make time flow. To make time. As if expecting this, the traveller took out a drum and began to play for the monster. The air within the land began to move, and time was created within the land. The monster kept dancing non-stop. It danced for 3 days and 3 nights. And on the morning of the 4th day, the monster fell to the ground and died. And as it died, so too did its world. The only thing left behind was the monster's armour. The traveller took out a blade and cut the monster's armour. He began to carve the armour into a mask. And as the mask was then cast out into obscurity, the traveller said, "Your power is safe within this mask. No one will feel threatened by it. May you sleep in peace for all of time." One thing I love about this story is even though it's the creation of the Majora's Mask, it's still very vague. Is Majora the name of the monster, the name of the traveller, or a name just given to the mask some point down the line? Why is the monster trapped within a land without time, and how do other people and even the traveller find their way to it? Why does the land have no time to begin with? There are so many questions surrounding all of the different parts of this small story. The traveller himself is also a very interesting character to me. He obviously looks like Link, but I don't think he's supposed to be human. It seems to me that he pretended to know nothing about the monster till he felt ready to reveal the truth to it. He came prepared with his drum to play for the monster, as if he knew that was the only way to kill it. But at the same time, you could read it as him not knowing anything about the monster, feeling bad for them and accidentally revealing the truth to it. Or he could have been coming to kill the monster for its armour, just like all of the other humans before it, but he chooses to trick the monster into letting its guard down. I think there's a lot of different ways all parts of this short story could be interpreted. I have always loved this short story. For Majora being such a powerful, chaotic, and evil creature within the Zelda series, Having the story show its creation to be a somewhat sad event is quite a shift. It really goes to show that we really have no idea where this mask came from, and everyone could have drastically different ideas that could all work. It could be a demon trapped within the mask for the safety of the world, similar to Demise. It could be a mask with uncontrollable power placed upon it, similar to the Fused Shadows. It could be the armour of a tragic monster who was trapped within a world without time. There are so many ideas people could have about it, and all of them could be right in a way. The Majora's Mask is again one of the most mysterious items and villains within the Zelda series. And while I'm sure all of us would love a canon explanation or backstory for what it is and where it came from, the mysteries about what it is and where it came from is what adds to it being so interesting. We really know so little that it really could be anything. Hey Hylians! Thank you all for watching all the way to the end of today's video. It's been a long time since I last made a video like this, so I really do hope everyone enjoyed it, even if it ends up being a little bit shorter than my normal videos. I've wanted to cover this short story on my channel for quite a while now, as I've always found it to be super interesting, that while not canon, there is technically an origin story for the Majora's Mask within an official Nintendo product. Again, I highly recommend reading all of the Zelda manga books if you haven't already. All of them are fantastic, and I actually really want to do a couple other videos on some of the other Zelda manga at some point down the line. They all have their own unique little quirks and changes to their original stories, which I think are very cool. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a like, and if you're new around here, why not subscribe so you never miss an upload from me. I do a lot of Zelda content, from videos like this, covering things you might not know about, theories, let's plays, and honestly anything I can bring Zelda into, I will probably do at some point. If you have any questions about today's video, or want to tell me about what you think of the story, or just what you thought about the video in general, please leave a comment down below. I always love reading them. Thank you all again for watching all the way to the end of today's video. It really does mean a lot to me. I hope you've all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!